So I've been thinking about the UFO stuff a whole lot recently. Ever since that SALT conference piece by Carl Nell. And how can I man, there's so many factors, right? There's a lot. Um in Carl Nell's little speech or talk or whatever you interview, he says we've been interacting with a non-human intelligence, and he says, for some time now. And there's not a single person that has shared any of these exotic materials or biologics. So I heard about the UAP thing a few years ago. I forgot exactly what year. And I was like, oh wow, it's pretty big that the United States government's admitting to these UFOs and stuff. And I didn't think about it too much because I heard about something like called Project Bluebeam, something like that. Blue Book or Blue Beam, I think they're different. But it was about, staging something and making it fake and all that. So, um, I kind of just dismissed everything. It's just with this, it's definitely different. There's definitely, some bigger stuff coming out. I guess it's a little bit more official now, right? You've got bigger names within the government talking to bigger, more impressive audiences. There still seems to be absolutely it's almost like no evidence. Like everybody that's seeing these UFOs can't get a clear picture of them. It's like, okay, yeah, they're high up in the sky. They're very far away. Or they disturb electronic devices if they come too close to the ground or something like that. I did see that Las Vegas alien thing, but that was there was a foggy image. It was a foggy image, and the thing was it was right up next to him behind the fence. And then somebody did some analysis, and they say, "Oh, well, see, you can see that there's something moving in the fence here and there." I don't know. It's like I thought, they say they're experts, but then you got NASA debunking what this thing is, that thing called Go Fast. But then you have the rest of the media still hyping up this Go Fast footage, even though NASA itself has already debunked it. And I saw Thunderfoot debunk that. And do I want to believe? Do I not want to believe? It's like I got reasons to want to believe and not want to believe. I'm on the side of not believing. And I think that The reason they've got to roll this out now, let's say like it's a huge hoax and a huge just staged bullshit, right? The reason they have to roll this out now is because of artificial intelligence. Because there's nothing makes sense. None of this shit makes sense when we can see our own capabilities with AI and these aliens are, it's one thing, like wrecking their craft, which makes no sense. And what you're risking your, like, you're this advanced form of life, and you're risking your life when AI could be doing the job for you. Now then again, you could say, these biologics are not the main alien entity. I often heard that Greys were very devoid of emotion, and they were hypothesized to be some type of like just drones in a sense. They used the word drone as an adjective to describe their behavior, but like the overall idea was to say that they were more of just like emotionless agents. And you're doing all this hiding and snooping around. And it's like, why? Why? And then I got sucked into the Y-Files. I got sucked into the Y-Files hard. And then, he definitely doesn't just let anything go. He doesn't he doesn't just believe everything. But then there's like the ancient aliens type shit. Bringing up the Younger Dryas every other episode. And that Gobekli Tepe thing is pretty insane. I think about those little handbags. Those little handbags too, that are across all these civilizations, and they're always being carried by some deities. It's like, it seems like there's a lot of good points. You know what I mean? And I would like to think of myself as a skeptic. And I think about, okay, with a highly intelligent like race, and I think about all this snooping around, right? All these underground bases and stuff, and cover-ups. And oh yeah, there was the edited photos of Mars. Yeah, and maybe those. Then I gotta think like maybe those aren't real, right? Maybe those are something that someone has said that was edited. No, I think they're real. Like I think those are edited photos, edited by NASA of Mars. It was very strange. Very strange. And then you got UFOs. Like, okay, you got UFOs in Las Vegas appearing behind somebody's house. Why them? Why their house? They want to snoop around everywhere else. And they say the government's got agreements with the aliens. And I guess, and part of the agreement is to stay stay sneaky. But yeah, I think, with the AI, they got to roll out this whole thing now. Make use of it, bring it to some climax, and like, what could that climax be? It's like, why are you lying? Oh, to distract people. Distract people from what? I always hear distract this, distract that. Distract people from what? Policies, important policies. The distraction thing has always been kind of like weird. Like, that doesn't seem like a very hard science. Like, there's got to be something you want to. You're going to put all this effort and this energy into lying about something. It can't just be just to divert people's attention. Because you're going to need more evidence to do that, especially with this sort of thing. And then I hear about all the scientists that are researching anti-gravity stuff, right? And then it's like, okay, I'm a believer again, because it's really suspicious that you have this Ning Ling chick dying, disappearing under mysterious circumstances, and you have all these other people disappearing under mysterious circumstances. But that can be kind of chalked up to just greed of corporations. And it makes sense. That makes sense. Suppress technology to hold power. But it almost doesn't make sense in the context of aliens. Because, like, you want to be all this, you want to exercise all this power and shit when you really ain't got nothing. Like, how are you going to exercise all this power, suppress the population, control everything? And, like, yeah, you're just on a fucking small little blue rock, and aliens could destroy us for just dropping a meteor on our ass. Like, you're nothing. If anything, you would need all of humanity's united, coordinated efforts to be relevant, or to just, like, do your best in this ocean of life of UFOs and aliens and shit. There's so much fucking shit to think about with this goddamn shit. Like, in the moon landing, they made a good point. The Y Files made a good point about the expression of, the astronauts. And it's like, yeah, once you've come back from the moon, you've, like, accomplished the biggest thing. Like, that's the biggest, ballsiest fucking thing you could possibly ever fucking be a part of. And it's not like they just, you can't really say they're exhausted. It's not like they just got off the moon, just got back and gave a conference. Like, they got rested up. And these guys had no energy to them. It's fucking weird. I don't know, I just think about it and it's like all this stuff just the whole thing just really makes me feel insignificant, no matter which way it goes. Because if you're going to roll out a whole UFO con, it's like, what are you really trying to drop? Like, what's your real end goal? If it's going to be a whole big lie, what's the end goal? Like, what do you, like, you got to be pulling off something big, something major. Like, what are you going to do? Like, what if you don't, if you're not trying to pull off something major, what are you going to do? Like, oh, well, these guys are just crazy. These guys are just being lied to. Oh, it's just a disinformation campaign. And like, then it's these, just, what? Said non-human intelligence, right? So it's like, can it be artificial intelligence? I mean, I guess technically it could be. And the thing is, maybe the AI is at a point where we can hoax something. We can stage something crazy. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. It's like OpenAI can. There's no way in hell. Yeah, think about like these people are trying to grab at every ounce of power, like as much as they possibly fucking can, right? There's no way OpenAI is the most advanced AI research company group, whatever, and like the government's just gonna be like, okay, yeah, just let him have a field day. Like, there's got to be something. Yeah, there's definitely like AI research programs in the government, and it's like it's people's jobs to do nothing but try to come up with new, novel, creative ways to improve intelligence. So maybe that's what they're going to roll out. And just like the whole moon base thing. Yeah, they said there were structures on Mars too. And again, this is from the Y files. But I'm just thinking, okay, like the Y files is doing a fair bit of research, and there's like this picture of these mile high pillars. I think they said they were 10 miles high or something. And I just think, with a picture like this, like maybe, like, did they just find some random picture that somebody hoaxed and claimed it was from NASA? I don't think so. I could be wrong. And then it's just like the amount of effort and energy that you would have to go through, like to dissect everything, verify everything. Like, is this really images from NASA? Is it not? Did NASA really blur out these images or did they not? did NASA really take a picture of? There's like a beach. There's a picture of some beach or something, and they found like a rat. I forgot, it was some type of rodent. And then NASA they claimed that NASA was saying it was from Mars, but then the picture shows the rat in it, and there's saying that okay they faked that, and then it's like okay it's just that seems like a really just odd thing for NASA to fuck up, and then there's always these missing documents, missing footage, missing photos. They misplaced that. They lost this. They lost that. How do you lose something in a fucking build? Like, how do you lose some shit in a fucking building? That's suspicious. Then maybe that's like all fake, just to keep our adversaries like on their toes. I don't fucking know, man. I don't fucking know. I got my fucking blockchain protocol. It's supposed to help everybody have some type of decentralized, distributed ownership of some decentralized spaces, physical spaces. But then, like, to pull that off, you would basically need the world to be reset anyway through some catastrophe. So that's another story. That's another fucking story. And now I'm trying to find like all these UFO discords and telegrams, and I can't find any. I found the Y Files Discord, but then I asked questions in there, and nobody really wants to talk about it. People aren't really like on top of it like that. And then I'm in one of the VCs, and you just gotta get these crazy people in there, and like they're hearing stuff, and they're just saying random shit. Like, and they get banned and they get muted, but it's just like, why did this happen so often in this space? And it's just like, yeah, there's like a lot of mental illness. And then somebody I fucking know, like somebody I knew from some cryptocurrency group, he's starting to post all this conspiracy theory stuff, flat earth and all this shit. And I was asking him like, so this must be really new because I've never seen this side of you, right? And the thing is, this is I don't really talk too much in that group. I don't really socialize. Like, I don't have any friends too much in that group, but I've been around. I've been around in that group for a while. And, like, they know me. And, I mean, I developed some stuff, and they know me. I've been around. Not too much, but I've been around. So it's like, I'm just trying to catch up, I'm trying to mingle a little bit more. And anyway, I go into the off-topic section. And again, like, anyway, I see this guy start posting all this stuff. I'm like, wow, I've never seen this side of you. And I check his Twitter, which I haven't checked in a long time. In fact, I actually had him muted on Twitter because he would always post like, it was the thing is, back then it wasn't conspiracy theory stuff. It was just like garbage posts. That's what I just remember on Twitter. It was like just garbage, annoying shit. Just like plebeian shit. I don't know what that is. It's like just basic shit. It was like just annoying shit. Like it was so much that I just muted him. I'm going to follow him because I'm trying to, be a part of the community and shit. But Jesus Christ, he was actually so annoying. But then it's like, okay, the same guy is posting all this stuff. Anyway, so I said, wow, I've never seen this side of you, blah 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 blah. And when did this happen? And he's like, why are you asking all these questions? Are you a Fed? And I would jokingly said, yeah, man, I'm just keeping tabs on you. He was like, I knew it. Consider yourself blocked. So he blocked me on Twitter, then he blocked me on Discord, I think, and then he tells everybody, oh, this guy just admitted to being a Fed. Like, you've got to be fucking retarded. You've got to be fucking retarded. And then I send a little emoji face, me crying, with the tears running down the face. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not a Fed. Right? I'm just trying to, I guess, be on everybody's good side there or whatever. You know what I mean? But I'm just like, and that's kind of like, using the emoji, of course, as a joke. But it's just like, dude, I'm not a fucking Fed. Like, that was a joke. But he was very fucking serious about it. And then I show him, he's talking about flat earth, flat earth, flat earth. And then I show him a video of a single shot of a rocket being sent into the atmosphere. And you can clearly see the curvature of the earth. You can see it from one end to the other. And he's like, oh, that's fake and gay. And he's totally fucking serious. I mean, unless he's sticking to a bit for whoever, I don't know, it's crazy. And there's some other guy in there. There's some other guy in the fucking group too. Super Christian, he's like super Christian and all this shit. And they're just fucking insane. It's like people have lost their fucking minds. And this other guy, I'm not even going to say his name, but he's just crazy gung-ho Christian. And he's supposed to be a big contributor of the community. But he's got this very, you can't control people's personal views and stuff. I get that. It was ever since he got this certain position within the community, he's also started promoting his church, not his church, but his belief, promoting Jesus and all this stuff, and then getting really political about Israel. And he's very much pro-Israel. Jesus Christ. And it's just this is just unsightly. No, no, I've made some big mistakes in my life. But I feel like the magnitude of the mistake I made, it's hit me so hard. And I'm just kind of I'm sitting back and I'm just watching. And I feel like I'm noticing all these little idiosyncrasies of people, family and friends, community, work. And it's I'm not perfect. I clearly fucked up my shit. I fucked up my shit good. My shit's fucked. But it just seems like it's opened my eyes so much more because I just think about how I used to act before. And the stupid shit that I would say and stupid shit that I would post online. And just how I would act and all this stuff, and how I could appear crazy and shit in some of the ways I came off to people. And all of my conviction and all this stuff. ever since I got just knocked the fuck out, basically. It's like, just my eyes opened up more and more. Because I'm in a position of like truly being powerless now. So it's like I'm walking on eggshells every fucking day. I don't know. So it's like I just feel like that hypersensitivity in a way translates to, me starting to see other people because like they haven't dealt with the consequences of their behavior or dealt with the consequences of their way of thinking. So they're free to think the way they are, as misguided as it may be, but it's like nothing's knocking them back into line. I don't know, but yeah, this whole UFO alien shit's got me fucked up. Got me really fucked up. Because I don't know what to believe, and I just feel like something big is coming. Something big has to come out of this. Either way. Either fucking way. And it could be a decade. It could be like a long thing, like 5-year, 10-year type thing. Because, they can just be like, well, we have to hide this alien technology. We have to hide it. We have to hide it. We have to hide it. Because of national security. Which makes sense if it exists. If you have UFO technology that's the size of a marble, it can move at Mach 1000, It's like, just fuck, you know what I mean? Just like, it's just like a ultimate weapon. Hit anybody, anytime, any place. And it's like, at no cost. I'm still leaning to this. It's like, there's so much information. I can't even think of like the big, like what really convinces me right now. Like what again, I'm still unconvinced. I think it was Thunderfoot's video. Like, no, it really was kind of his video. There was something a little bit before it, but I was just thinking, okay, this can't be right. Like, there's something's not right. Something's not true. I don't think there's as many crashes. Whatever, that's another fucking thing. There can only be like a few crashes. They can't be crashing all the time. Out of the dozens of aircraft they claim to have recovered, they can't be. The thing is, they say recovered, right? Like, that would imply something went wrong. No, that just doesn't sound right. Doesn't sound right. Advanced alien technology, like, it's not even just the what do you call it? It's not even just, what kind of physics they're exploiting, right? It's also the fact that these guys have to have AI. They have to. There's no way you become that advanced and you don't have AI. But then if it is real, I would think that if it is real, to explain the crashes, this intelligence isn't existing at the same scale that we are. The thing is, they've said they recovered biologics. That could be bullshit too, though. Right? There's always, you know what I mean? Any bit of details, for the most part, like the small details, they could always be like, oh, well, that guy was just, disinformation agent. And it's like the thing is, they have full ability to be like, yeah, that was just disinfo, because like they have to keep their adversaries on edge. They have every reason to like say that. Like, yeah, that was just disinformation, or that guy was just not telling the truth. So they say they recovered biologics. But yeah, it's possible that whatever's exploiting these laws of physics, like it might not be something that started off growing on a planet. It could be something that started off in space, and like that's just the physics that it's, whatever laws of physics it's exploiting, right? That could be just the physics that were most available to it as it evolved. Carbon based or silicon based, or not, or something completely different. Just know it's going to be dragged out for a while. It's going to be dragged out for a while. I started blocking the channels on YouTube and saying, not interested, not interested, not interested, because I'm just tired of it. I've only been kind of down the rabbit hole for 2 weeks. The thing is, this is, it's pretty much all I've been doing, because I don't have a job, I'm kind of fortunate enough to be living off of my cryptocurrency success, and I wouldn't even call it success, really. It's like I bought myself some time. That's about it. But because I'm walking on eggshells, it's actually very fortunate. So that's, it sucks. My situation sucks. I got a criminal record, all this stuff. Yeah. A lot of stuff going on with that. It's another story. Are the aliens real? If they aren't, what are we being tricked into? What is being switched in with the bait and switch? And then if they are real, there's so many things to be worried about if they are. Or, there's a lot of things to be worried about if they aren't. And if they aren't real, we're going to be ushered into a new age, and all these lies were to help people that are already very powerful secure their power into this new age. And as the truth comes out, it's not going to matter for the little guy. If the aliens are real, it's like you're suppressing. It's like, why are you suppressing people? Like, what's the point of that? If the aliens are real, let's do everything I've ever come up with is completely pointless. There's no way the aliens haven't come up with the stuff I've invented. The thing that I invented, quote unquote, whatever. There's no way they haven't seen that. And it's like, it's already on the blockchain. The smart contract's already on the blockchain. So, if it was that profound, the aliens would have definitely found it by now. Right? I would have already been, if it was anything substantially amazing, I would have already been good to go. But I'm not good to go. So whatever these aliens got, they got a whole lot on me. As much as I would like to believe that my little protocol could really help save, the world in a sense. It's, and it's really not going to save the world, but it's going to do a good job of helping us coordinate things, helping us decentralize power. And I would like to think it would. And you have the whole chaos theory of economics and all that stuff, so I can only estimate. It's still got to be battle tested against real money, real incentives. And it has been, to a certain extent, just not as thoroughly as it needs to be. If the aliens are real, and we're kept in the dark, the thing is they're doing a slow rollout, right? They're slowly rolling it out. And if they do have humanity's best interest in mind, if they do want to share it, I could still see why they would want to slowly divulge everything. I could still see that. We don't want to destroy ourselves. We don't want any chaos. And if they roll it out over the course of like a few decades, whatever, we become a spacefaring civilization, which would be cool. And everybody be safe and everything. So that makes sense. So maybe they got the, maybe everything's going to be okay. Maybe everything's going to be okay. That'd be nice. And it's just kind of like, we got to just pace everything out right. And it might seem pretty bad that you have all these people dying under these mysterious circumstances, but would you rather a few people die under mysterious circumstances, or would you rather have the whole world freak out and all these superpowers go to war with their ad hoc fucking alien technology and destroy the planet? If you were put into if you were put into a trolley problem, that's what's kind of like the trolley problem, when you think about it. Either kill one guy or you kill everybody. I saw something with Eric Weinstein. I thought it was really interesting. Just kind of popped in my head. I'm just rambling. And he said, there's no physicists. There's no physicists inspecting this or whatever, right? Get the physicists involved. Where are the physicists? I thought that was weird. Because it's like, yeah, I think there are physicists on the team. If this is a secret operation, how do you know who's on the team and who's not? They don't have to be world-renowned physicists. Makaku and Stephen Hawking, of course he's dead. I don't know why there's the assumption of no physicists being involved. Because he was on about them saying, these things defy the laws of physics, And then he's saying, where's the physicist? It's like, nigga, they got a fucking, it's not like, bro, they got a Hollywood studio in there. Not a Hollywood, they got, video editing, media studio, whatever. It's one of their departments. Like, they're not going to just have pilots and what do you call it? Just infantry. What the fuck do you call it, right? It's like, how the fuck were the planes built in the goddamn first place? A physicist was involved, motherfucker. Like, you have all these advanced fucking planes and shit. There's physicists involved. And who says they need to be public? So if the aliens are real, I think that's probably a good thing. It's a good thing they're covering it up. And they say there's bad aliens too. I don't know. Who fucking knows, man? That could be disinformation, right? I guess it's just like all wishful thinking now. Like, so it's whatever you want to believe. Believe whatever you want to believe. You don't know what to fucking believe. Just believe whatever you think it is. And some people are gonna say it's demons and angels, or just demons. Some people are gonna say ancient aliens. Some people are gonna say it's the same thing. It just seems like a lot of drama. It just seems like when it comes to like the whole religious angle on everything, it seems like a lot of drawn out drama for this. It kind of it makes more sense if like they are ancient aliens, because for it to be just like this whole big story about us, and there's eternity of hell or eternity of paradise on the other end. It's like this huge hyper focus on this very short period of time that we've existed as a species and exist as individuals on this planet. And that seems off to me. That seems like just busted thinking to me. Like, that can't be the whole story. And in some cases, I can imagine, yeah, there is infinite hell or infinite paradise. Because what if death, right? What if there is some type of conscious experience after death, but you're just kind of being scrambled in this infinite chaos of the universe? And only when you're inside of a life form can you actually experience some type of steady peace or something, right? If you have alien advanced technology, whatever, whatever, then yeah, you have that opportunity to be in a paradise forever. Now, who knows? I want to start a channel. I want to start posting videos about this, just so I can start a conversation. And I mean, if I'm not gonna lie, try to make some money in the process. Try to make a living out of it, because I could pull people to the work that I've been doing, and that'll make money for me if it works or if it doesn't work. Hopefully it does work, but I do want I want a really solid go at it. Unfortunately, I don't have very good connections in crypto. And it's really hard. It's really hard to get attention in that. But hey, maybe if I start spewing a whole bunch of UFO and alien nonsense and start building some conversation around that, building a community around that. So if I'm going to be transparent, right, I just might as well take the transparency strategy. I'm going to be shilling it anyway. And there's a hope, right? In all of my humble narcissism, there's a hope that this helps us coordinate. It's not going to make everything perfect, but it's going to create kind of like this adhesive in between nations, in between these state actors. And maybe if we do it right, the world doesn't need to reset through some catastrophe. Maybe we can get this thing set up and get things going. So I guess the last part of my little rambling shit is to divulge my own personal anomalous experiences. So the first one, there's only really basically two. Like the second one came in 3 parts. Second one was, yeah, if the aliens are real, the second one's got me fucked. But yeah, first one was the first one was really weird though, right? So I was in 11th grade, so this had to be around 2007, 2006. And I'm pretty sure I was either going to the 11th grade or I was in 11th grade, because I know it wasn't my senior year. I forgot exactly why, but I know it wasn't. I never really thought about it too much. You know, always trying to be a critical skeptic of these things, right? Never thought about it too much. But I had this encounter, right? And I was asleep, and I'll say that part afterward. But anyway, I was asleep, and I just remember it's like 3 or 4 aliens, grays, right? And things I was never, you know what I mean? And at this time, actually, I was a Jehovah's Witness. And I was pretty convinced of that religion. Now, I wasn't super into the religion, but that was my worldview, right? That was my worldview. And I say, you know, I was a skeptic and all that. The thing is, that religion, they have this thing called evidence by faith, or faith is evidence and all this. That's the thing is, that's eventually why I left that religion, because they kept saying evidence-based faith. And once I actually started looking for evidence, you know, it fell apart. But anyway, Christian, whatever, it's like when you get UFOs, right? There's a certain level of skepticism or whatever. And it's just like, okay, yeah, I never really looked into it too much after that. In fact, anyway. So I see these like just heads. That's all I remember. It's like kind of like alien grays type something, and like I just remember the big eyes and the big heads, right? Just looking over me like it was like almost like a like when you're at the doctor's and then you're laying down, they're operating on you or something. Now, I remember before waking up, there was like this heat. That was another thing. Before I woke up, there was like this heat. of course, like above me, right? And it was heat. It was just like hot, like, you know. And then I woke up, and of course, I didn't see any aliens or anything. The thing is, it freaked me out so much. It freaked me out so much that I got out of bed. I think I'm pretty sure I went straight to the kitchen. Downstairs, went to the kitchen. And my parents were gone, and I waited for them to come home. I can't remember. The thing is, I knew that I waited for them to come home. I don't know if I went straight down to the kitchen. I think I went straight down to the kitchen because I was freaked the fuck out. And then, like, when they came home, I told them. I was like, I saw this and da 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 da. Like, and I'm like, I'm not a kid. Like, I'm in 11th grade, right? I was never super into, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I'm never super into aliens or anything like that. I don't watch a lot of Ancient Aliens. I know that. I wasn't even into sci-fi that much. And, like, yeah, I've heard of, you know, aliens with big eyes and big heads. You know what I mean? But who hasn't, right? But yeah, I told my parents, and my mom was like, you know, you're crazy or whatever. And my dad, he was like, well, who knows? Basically. I mean, I guess it's a whole nother story, you know, as far as his perspective. He's ex-Air Force. And he was always a skeptic of the religion, but because of the way the religion was, it keeps your whole family hostage. But he would always tell us when there was something wrong with the religion. Like when someone would say something on stage that was just off, or someone would make a weird comment during the Watchtower study, he would always say something. But like there was times that things were brought up to my mom, and my mom would just completely go straight cultish mode, straight brainwashed. Like she was the type to be like, well, the Bible says it's the word of God, so therefore it's the word of God. And that was all the proof that she needed. Like now she's awake. But it's just, to me, it's like, how can you be that dumb? How can you be that dumb? Like, I'm sorry, but it's just like, Jesus Christ. God bless her, man. I'm trying to really be there for my mom now and everything, but it's just like, I just don't know how to put it, you know? I really don't. So, anyway. So the one thing that really got me about that, because now that I'm thinking about it now, everybody was gone. I have two sisters, too. It's kind of freaking me out that I'm thinking about it. Like, these guys might pop up. Choose me as an ambassador. Choose me as an ambassador, right? Anyway. All right, yeah, if I could pull that shit off, leverage that, get out of my legal situation. But anyway. Everybody was gone. I forgot where my sisters were. I knew my parents were at some, like, little, you know, something for adults or something. I don't know. Yeah, at that time as a kid, it's like, you know, it wasn't for us. My sisters weren't with them. I was home alone. We've got a pretty big house. We live in a neighborhood. Now the thing is, we do live, no, we did, well, I did, whatever. I don't live with them anymore, but I'm trying to think, how'd they get in, right? How'd they get in without being seen? And like if they can just teleport, whatever. But if the aliens are real, my suspicion is that I never left the house. They operated on me while I was in bed. And they came in through the woods. I don't know. That's all I could think of. They just came in through the woods somehow. Because people see all these UFOs and shit. And people see all these UFOs and shit, right? I live in a neighborhood. So if I was surrounded just by other houses, I don't know, one of the neighbors could have saw him a lot easier. Even though it was at night. It was at night, though. It was at night. Yeah, but you think about this shit. If they can phase through walls, I don't know, man. Why can't they just go through, underground? But the thing was, nobody was home. That's the biggest thing that stuck out to me. Like, nobody was home. I just think about that now, too. It was just me. I remember sitting in that kitchen alone. I remember being freaked the fuck out. I remember telling my parents that, the minute they came home, I was shook. I told them immediately. And we were in the kitchen. Anyway, so that was sometime, around 11th grade. All right, so next thing was much later. Had to be 2001. I mean, 2021. And now this experience is different. It's about DMT. So you got DMT and stuff. You got some substances involved, right? Okay. So, with DMT, there's something called breaking through. You break through and you have an experience. So yeah, first time, if I remember correctly, the first time I had some type of breakthrough, and it could have been the second. I might have the first and the second switched around. I know the third was the third, but anyway, what I think was the first time was it was almost a breakthrough too. It wasn't quite a breakthrough. I think that's why it was the first time too. But kind of scary because it was basically like the devil saying, "I've got you." And I felt like then, like at that point in time, the things I didn't believe in, anything at that time, right? Of course, I have years of religious pre-programming and all this stuff. But anyway, it's like the devil's saying, "I've got you," and it's like the thing is, I'm just thinking at that point in time, like I might be trapped in this because it's like DMT really fucks with your consciousness. It really fucks with your consciousness. So trying to be a scientific skeptic, whatever. Anyway, there's the thought that still remained that, maybe I am holding on to this conscious experience, but something like DMT could shift my consciousness to something else, right? And then it's like, okay, now I'm not the conscious driver of this body. Something else overtakes it, right? And then I'm just put into this labyrinth. My consciousness is now stuck inside this labyrinth, or stuck inside this jail or something. Or maybe I'm stuck inside this simulation or something. I don't know. Like maybe I've been transferred to another fucking reality. And maybe I still am. And that'd be too much, man. And yeah, like right now I am on house arrest, and it fucking sucks. I got 106, basically 105 more days of house arrest. And it's not even over. I got probation, and I got a whole lot more than that. So it really fucking sucks. So that's part 1 of 3 of the second experience. So the second time, I was a bit more successful in breaking through. I didn't realize I broke through at the time, but I did for a little bit. And so the first one was the devil saying, okay, I've got you. Right, now that shit, DMT's crazy. Like, once I get off of probation and all this shit, that's the first thing I want to do. Is either ayahuasca or DMT. Anyway. Second time, and this is where it gets really narcissistic and shit, right? Second time, I was told that I am the... Oh god, this sounds retarded. I'm just trying to be transparent and everything. I was told that I was the Dark Light Messiah. Yeah. So yeah, me being a skeptic and all that stuff that I'm trying to be a skeptic and stuff, trying to be rational and shit. It's like, yeah, I got an ego. Okay. Yeah, I think I created something pretty cool. I think I created this really phenomenal blockchain protocol thing. And it could, quote unquote, save the world. But, when you get that kind of message, and you're trying to be as sound in mind as possible. Anyway, that was the message. And these are all like, this whole 1, 2, 3 experience was all with like a week time span. Less than a week, probably like 4 days. Some shit like that. Anyway. After that, this was at my parents' house. At the time I was with my parents because I was trying to figure out a way out of my legal situation. That didn't pan out very well, obviously. But yeah, I decided to, take some ballsy endeavors. Anyway, the last one was pretty much the DMT spirits telling me to never come back. saying, don't fucking do this shit again. Quit fucking doing DMT. Right? That was the message. And I was actually, you know, it was God telling me, right? What pretty much felt like God, you know what I mean? Pretty much felt like God saying, stop doing DMT. And the underlying message was, or like the connotation of the message was like, stop doing this because it's distracting you from what you're supposed to be doing. Stop doing this because you need to you don't need to overwhelm yourself with, oh, there was a fourth thing too. But yeah, it was before this, but anyway. The idea with the whole thing was like, stop doing this because you're supposed to focus on what you have to do, basically. It wasn't just saying stop doing this because it's bad. It wasn't saying this because it's bad. It was like stop doing this because you're not supposed to be here. Stop doing this because you're supposed to focus on other shit. And I remember something else that came up too. So like in this, because once you do DMT, right, you're kind of already in that mind space of being able to do it not session after session, but like you have like a saga, right? You have a I don't know what you call it, a whole episode of kind of going in and out of these experiences. Anyway, I remember one theme that came up was like there's this everlasting war. And I just remember like it was like there's like the war is vicious. And I just remember like it was happening at so many scales. Like there was like a small scale war, and like you zoom out and it's just like conflict upon like nested within conflict, nested within conflict, nested within conflict. And the relative peace that we have on Earth is rare. Especially like living in America, living with all these niceties, right? Even with all the bullshit that I'm going through legally, I have it much better than 99% of the people on the planet. So to find some peace is rare. And that was like the whole idea behind one of these trips. And again, part of that message was, and I don't know why I'm just remembering this, but part of that message was like, take this peace that you have and make the most of it, because this shit is hell out here and we need a solution. So that probably plays into the whole narcissistic messiah complex thing, where I can actually contribute and do some good. But what are the chances of that, right? If the aliens are real. And I'm also thinking like, maybe that's why they're crashing. Because they are in conflict. And for whatever reason, maybe they can't directly fight over our planet or in our dimension, whatever. But maybe parts of that battle, right? Damaged things, damaged ships, whatever. And they come spiraling down into our planet, our dimension, whatever, and they crash because of this intense, everlasting battle. Like, that shit's intense, because I was like, I just remember it was just so intense because, how do I put it? It was like overwhelming. Like I said, nested upon nested upon nested, just conflict. Yeah, the whole theme of that experience was, yeah, just make the most of this peace. Yeah. And that's all I remember. But, let's say I don't believe, right? Then what is all this stuff? Space. All this, and I think the solution to the Fermi paradox, is that life has such an explosive exponential capability that if it were to ever kind of start anywhere, it by default needs to be, it by default can only start incomprehensibly far the fuck away from anything else. Because either it's all hyperconnected, like if something is born, it's either born into this hyperconnected system of life, or like it's just not gonna, how can I put it? It's just so explosive that it's like it's either with everybody or it's not. I can't say with everybody. Because the other thing is, you could always ask, is it just us? Is it only us? You can always ask it at any scale. Are we alone? Because we'd be sitting here, let's say we populated the whole galaxy, and then we could be like, oh, are we the only galaxy, right? It might not work at that. It might not work like that at that scale, but it's like, you could always ask that. Unless it becomes where it's like, life is just everywhere and you can't even see the edge of life. That's the only opposite. Because once you're the most intelligent species, or you're part of that, if you're part of that rank, it's like you can always be like, are we alone? Now, when you think about an insect or think about an animal, all like a little fucking, a cat or a dog, they see life everywhere. It goes like, they just see it everywhere. It's just overwhelming. It's everywhere. It's infinite to them, right? Above and below. They're not asking, are we the only ones? Even though they can't put together those thoughts, it's like, from their perspective, there is there is infinite above and below. I guess from the perspective of most animals, at least. So yeah, you don't really. The thing is, for us, if we ascend to the next level, for us to have that perspective means whatever is above us is really fucking above us. So, try to be a skeptic and everything. What if the aliens are real? Maybe my abduction experience, or it wasn't abduction, I don't think. Maybe that was just a dream, right? I now think I've never recalled feeling temperature in a dream. Maybe, but that was a huge thing with that experience. I just remember laying down. I remember the things, over me, looking down at me, and I just remember that heat. I just remember that heat. And things I don't know any. Haven't really looked into any other UFO experiences. Like I've heard of some, right? Y-files and all that. But there's nothing I didn't really look into any others other than that. And that was only recently. I just remember one thing about the one thing about my encounter was the heat. It was really fucking strange. Like I felt other sensations, even pain in some dreams. I remember having a dream where I was getting beat in the fucking face, pummeled. And often it's like, the main sensory of my dreams is just vision, right? The main sense at play is vision and sound. You hear things, you have conversations, you talk to people. So maybe that was just the aliens could still be real, and my DMT things were just a hallucination. And playing into my subconscious, right? And the little alien experience I had too. It's like, yeah, I've heard of aliens and stuff, right? But like, I wasn't really into it. That's the thing. I wasn't really into it. Whereas with the DMT thing, I could be like, well, yeah, that's a lot of my subconscious. That's a lot of my ego with this whole protocol thing, right? It's like, yeah, that's kind of baked into my subconscious. But who knows? And then also, not everyone's going to have a hyper-religious experience. I remember another thing with the DMT trip, right? My little DMT saga. There was something about it that was just nauseatingly. It was nauseatingly religious. It was like hyper-religious. And it was just like so serious. It was so deep, right? And it just became nauseating. And there was like, I just want to forget. I just want to like not take shit so fucking seriously. And things like when you are someone with a, I guess you could say, narcissistic messiah complex like myself, right? And I would say, like, it just really boils down to insecurities of being powerless and, working really hard to try to compensate for that insecurity, right? So, you build something and you hope it works and all this shit, right? Whatever, but it's like, anyway. So you spend a lot of time really fucking serious. And it's gotta mean the most. It's gotta be the most important, most meaningful fucking thing. And everything aligns and means something and all this shit. I just remember, like, with the whole DMT thing, the whole DMT saga, I was just over it. Like, it was just nauseating. It was like, oh my God, this is way too much. Like, this is just, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's nice to have something that's mundane. It's nice to live in the mundane. Because I think about if I had success with my protocol and all this shit now, it'd be too much. Even if I didn't have all these legal complexities and stuff. Like, imagine living your entire life and you're just so important and everything you did was so meaningful and so important and so impactful and all this. Just, it seems like it'd not be good for your psyche. I think that was another reason that, you know, maybe my subconscious or the experience, the DMT experience, the last one, was telling me to fuck off. It was just like, you don't want all this religion. You know, you don't want this nauseating, you know, nauseous inducing experience of shit being so goddamn meaningful. It's like, no, the mundane is just as important as, it's like it's 50-50. Like, it's crucial, it's critical. The mundane is just as important as the non-mundane. Because you gotta chill. You gotta relax and, like, just appreciate everything that's been worked for. Because what's the point, right? If you're just constantly working, just working just to keep working. All right, that's all I got. Yeah, that's all I got. I still don't know. Either the government's lying, or they're not, man. That's gonna really get kind of. I saw some interview and some guy was talking about, like, you know, we have unanswered questions and those unanswered questions are gonna leave an open loop, and it keeps the mind occupied. And it was by the former CIA agent, whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's probably something the CIA would know about too. Like, he's breaking it down a little bit too well. It's like, yeah, I guess you had that kind of training there, don't you? That's kind of psychological training. Kind of keeps you on a fucking. It's like a carrot on a stick. It keeps you on edge, which I don't like. I don't like that at all. And he said that too. He said, people don't like that. I don't like that at all. Like, I don't like this thing hanging over me. And I don't know how to, and like, then there's the whole thing like, how am I supposed to plan for my future? Got me fucked up. Got your man's fucked up. Don't know what the next move is. Oh wow, I'm on like 1% battery. I don't know what the next move is.